How's it going, everyone? RAMTEID here. Today I'll be going over the new patch and some of the biggest changes that stand out to me. If you want to see the detailed patch notes, I will be leaving a link down in the description below. So with that being said, let's get started. First and foremost, this is the December update that brings us Giant Shadow, which is a new map. Now, if you remember from my previous video, if you have premium or you pre-ordered the game, you will be getting this map today. If you did not, then you'll have to wait until December 20th. This is a decent size update as well, as it's almost 3.4 gigs. First and foremost, they added in spectator mode, which is a nice addition. But along with that, they made some changes to it. For spectator mode this time around, they are also allowing a movable third-person camera, depth of field, and camera filters. Now this is for all those content creators out there that really like to go around and make some cinematic videos. We are also getting a new custom game setting called Standard Issue Rifles. For this game setting, every kit will be granted access to their faction's standard issue rifle, so for example, the British will be getting the SMLE. On top of this, there will be no optics involved either, so this will be an iron sights only thing. Another change was that previously, if you were crouched or prone, you couldn't sprint out of it. However, with this update, you should be able to. They also addressed the problem where you would spawn in with either a tanker, pilot, or cavalry, and you wouldn't have your vehicle or horse. So hopefully that will no longer be a problem with this update. So with that, let's talk about some of the vehicles and the changes that they're making there. First up is the landship, which is getting some significant changes. They wanted to incentivize the use of the landship as it's been drastically underrepresented in the game, and I think that these changes will do a fantastic job at addressing that and making it a more viable option within the game. The biggest change is that the landship now allows people to directly spawn in it, just like the heavy tank, so you no longer have to be in the guy's squad in order to spawn directly in it with them. It should now be more on par with the heavy tank, as they have buffed the driver capabilities along with its armor. Another significant change that they made was the head glitching with tanks. This was a problem to where you could go from first person to third person and shoot over objects that were directly in front of you, effectively giving you cover to where the enemies couldn't hit you, but you could hit them. A few other changes to stand out is that they decreased the amount of health restored by emergency repairs for the heavy tank and the landship, while increasing the amount of health restored by track repairs on the landships. They have also increased the tank hunter rifle's damage output against some of the tanks as well. Now as for the air vehicles, there's one major thing that stands out to me that I thought they really needed to adjust, and I'm glad that they did. This being the effectiveness of the rear gunner in airplanes, so they lowered the damage potential of them. Chances are you'll still see people switching from the primary seat to the rear gunner and shooting you if you're behind them. However, it should be a little more difficult for them to actually kill you. Some of the better players will probably still be able to pull it off. The bombers also now take 20% more damage from bullets, and the stationary AA's range have been reduced from 400 meters down to 334. They have made some significant changes when it comes to the weapons, so we'll go over that right now. The Model 10A shotgun was a major problem as it had way too far of a range on it. So what they did was decrease its range, which lowers its maximum one-hit kill distance. Now they did this for all of the shotguns, however, they did actually buff some of the shotguns as a response to this. They said in order to make the M97 trench gun more attractive, they added an extra pellet to all the variants and slightly improved the damage drop-off for the sweeper variant. They have increased the range of all of the backboard shotgun variants, and they've also increased the accuracy of the 12-gauge automatic in order to allow people to use its high rate of fire much more effectively. As for the LMGs, they're getting a decent buff as well. It says for the accuracy of the second shot, it's going to be the same for all variants of that particular LMG, which is going to be slightly above the level previously held by the optical setup of that LMG. Also, the damage drop-off distance starts at a later distance now. This should make LMGs a much more viable option, and I expect to see a lot more people running with the support class now. Flares had a little bit of a change. They should no longer set your player on fire when you're firing them while looking down. However, hopefully this doesn't happen at all anymore. There was an issue with the Martini Henry where it was dealing too much damage to most of the body parts, so what they did was change the multiplier, so now it's going to be affected by a 0.9 multiplier to the lower torso and upper arms, and a 0.75 multiplier to the legs and forearms. This is going to be on par with other rifles that have the sweet spot mechanic. They made some changes to some of the gadgets as well, one of those being the mortars, which will be more accurate when placed and slightly more accurate during sustained fire. They've also made it a change to the syringe, adding a short cooldown, so you can't just go around and quickly getting large amounts of revives. However, you will be able to do this if you're near an ammo crate, so this makes team play a little more important. As for the large ammo and medical crates, those will be staying longer now, so you will be able to heal and resupply from those a lot more than you have previously. They made a change to hardcore as well. Previously, what they did was have the damage output of the weapons increase to 200%. Now they dropped it down to 125. What this is going to result in is still a major increase in damage up close. People are going to be dying much more quickly still. However, it's going to result in less one-shot kills by the sniper rifles. They have reworked operations a little bit. The behemoth will no longer appear if one team is in a significant lead, and this affects both attackers and defenders. It says that defenders will no longer be getting a behemoth on a new level if the attackers are on their last attack. They have also reduced attacker behemoths in order to prevent them from getting one on each retry for the second and third maps of the operation. There's a few other implementations that they made that I want to point out as well. One of those being that they added a new frame rate limiter option, so you'll be able to limit your maximum frame rate in-game. They have also prevented the possibility to spawn with the wrong class when switching classes at the time of deploying. This is a glitch I think went back to Battlefield 3 as well, to where you could spawn in with ammo and health or any variation of gadgets for any of the classes. Now this is something for Battlefield 1 that I did test myself and found out that you could do this. However, it was difficult and it does seem that maybe they have fixed it. I hope that this is the case. Well, that's everything that I wanted to cover for the patch, but there are more changes, so if you would like to read those, once again, the link to the patch notes will be in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you haven't already, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and I'll try to keep you up to date on all of the current Battlefield 1 news. Thanks for watching, have a good day, RaMTEID out.